Look, I know you might not have noticed, but someone who really matters has started to notice you in a different way. I'm not talking about just any compliment or a simple observation. It's deeper. It's that pause, that look that lasts a little longer than usual, as if they found something in you that no one had noticed until now. It's not just about your appearance, you know? It's about the way you exist. That expression you make when you're distracted, or how your voice changes tone when you talk about something you love. Small details that you may have ignored yourself, but now attract the attention of someone looking with intention. And even if you don't say anything, this person feels it. They notice when you smile, but not with your mouth, rather with your eyes. When your silence has more meaning than 1,000 words. When your presence, just by being there, changes the energy of the place. They are seeing who you really are, even when you're not trying to impress. And that changes everything because there is nothing stronger than being truly seen. Maybe it scares you a little. Maybe it makes you think that something is wrong. But no. It means that you are radiating something that only someone paying attention can perceive. And now you need to decide. Will you continue hiding what's inside, or will you let this connection grow? Because whether you like it or not, this person has already seen, already noticed, already cared. And once you are noticed like this, there's no going back. You don't need to force anything or try to be someone you're not. In fact, it's exactly the opposite. What made you noticed was precisely the natural way you present yourself, even without realizing it. It's the details that emerge when you are at ease, when you forget to protect yourself or follow any kind of expectation. This person saw something in you that goes beyond what you show to the world. It's not about the image you build or what you try to hide. It's about who you are in your purest state. Maybe you aren't even aware of it yet, but these little things, which might seem like nothing to you, are everything to someone who truly pays attention. The way you get quiet when you're thinking, the words you choose carefully, the look you avert when something touches you deeply. These things tell stories, even without you saying a single word. And now, someone is listening to those stories. They are paying attention to the signals you release without noticing. This doesn't happen with just anyone. And that's why you need to understand how rare this is, because being noticed in this way is not about appearance. It's about impact. It's about what you evoke in others without any effort. It's not something that can be manufactured or imitated. It's real, it's you, and I know you might be confused right now. Maybe you're even wondering why this started happening. But deep down, the answer is simple. You stopped hiding. Even without realizing it, you began to be more honest with what you feel, with what you think, with who you are. And the truth, when it appears, is impossible to ignore. This person sees you. Not in a superficial way, not just any way. They perceive you as a whole. What you bring that's good, what you carry that's heavy, even what you think no one would want to know, they see, and yet they do not leave. Do you know what this means? That you are too interesting to be ignored. That you matter. That even when you are not trying, you leave a mark. This can be scary, I know. Being noticed like this makes you feel exposed, vulnerable, as if you are being seen from the inside, where you keep your truest parts. But on the other hand, it is also liberating, because for the first time, you can allow yourself to exist without masks. You can allow yourself to be who you truly are, without fear of being rejected or misunderstood. And no, this does not mean that you need to do something immediately. It does not mean that you need to respond or react in a specific way. It's not about creating expectations or acting according to a script. It's about recognizing the moment. It's about understanding that a connection is happening there, in the silence, in the detail, in the glance. You might be wondering, why now? Why this person? Sometimes people come into our lives at the exact moment when we need to be seen, when we are ready, even if we don't know it yet. And maybe this person showed up because you, finally, started allowing the world to truly see you. And look, I need to tell you something important. Don't sabotage this, don't ignore it, don't try to diminish what you are feeling. Because sometimes the most beautiful opportunities in life arise in the simplest moments. And this person is not noticing you by chance. There is a reason they stopped, looked, noticed. There is a reason they did not move on like any other person would. If you stop to think, this is a gift. Being seen like this truly is something many people spend their entire lives searching for. Something many try to force and never achieve. But in your case, it happened naturally, because this is how real connections are born, in the unexpected, in the detail, in the silence. Maybe this perception, this detail, changes the way you see yourself too. Because when someone notices what is special about us, it's like they're helping us remember it, to see what we were ignoring, what we thought was too small to matter. But now it doesn't matter what you thought, you were noticed, and that means something in you shone brighter than anything else around. The big question now is, what are you going to do with this? Are you going to hide? Are you going to pretend it didn't happen? Are you going to ignore this chance to be seen and, more importantly, to see yourself? Or are you going to allow this connection to grow, for this perception to turn into something even more significant? I know that maybe this makes you nervous. Maybe it makes you feel a knot in your chest because there is a natural fear of being exposed. But I need to remind you, there is nothing more beautiful than being noticed by someone who truly matters. There is nothing more real than being seen exactly as you are. And you deserve that. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be noticed, loved, valued. Take a deep breath and think about it. There is no need to rush. There is no manual for what you should do next. Just feel. Allow yourself to realize that something important is happening here. Do not ignore the feeling you are having right now, because what you are experiencing is not common. It's not something that happens every day. And, as simple as it may seem, this is how the best stories begin. When someone sees in the other what no one else saw. When in a world full of distractions, a person stops everything to look at you. Not because they have to, but because they want to. And that makes all the difference. Maybe you have lived too long thinking that no one noticed you, thinking that you needed to change something about yourself to be seen. But now someone proved you wrong. You, just the way you are more than enough. And that is not little, that is everything. Tell me, can you feel it happening? Can you sense that someone is looking beyond what you show? That they are seeing you in a way that perhaps you haven't allowed yourself to see yet? Don't run away from it. Don't diminish what is happening. This is your chance to be truthful, to let the other person get to know you, to stop hiding. Because the detail that this person noticed in you, no matter how small it may seem, was enough to spark an interest that won't easily fade away. And believe me, if this person saw something in you, it's because you have much more to offer than you imagine. It's curious how so often we spend so much time trying to fit into a pattern that we forget to look at what we truly are. You did this, didn't you? You got used to not expecting to be noticed, to thinking that who you truly are might not be enough. But now someone who really matters has looked at you. It's not just any look. It's a look that reveals, a look that, without saying a word, shows you that your presence is impossible to ignore. And the truth is that this can be uncomfortable at first. Because for so long you learned to hide in layers. You hid your voice, your expressions, what made you unique, maybe even your vulnerabilities. But someone has crossed those barriers. Someone has seen beyond. And this kind of look changes everything, because it brings to light what you didn't even know existed anymore. It's not about superficial compliments or forced attempts to please you. No, this look is different. It comes with a depth that disorients you. You realize that behind the way this person sees you, there is truth. There is genuine interest. And this messes with you because it forces you to look at yourself in a way that you may have avoided until now. Maybe you don't think you're that interesting. Maybe you've spent so much time in silence that you've gotten used to the idea of not being noticed. But the truth is, those who truly see you find beauty where you only saw simplicity. And as strange as it may be to hear this, you need to know, what you consider small about yourself is exactly what makes you unforgettable. This person noticed your quieter voice when you're being sincere. They noticed how your gaze carries a truth you never had to announce. They even noticed your moments of distraction, as if even in those moments there is something to admire. And the most impressive part? They don't need grand reasons, because for them, you are the reason. This is not just anything. Connections like this don't come around all the time. Maybe you think this will pass, that it's something momentary, but it isn't. When someone sees you in this way, when someone notices the details you yourself ignore, it's because your presence touched something that can't be explained. And that's rare. It's extremely rare. Now the question is, how do you feel about this? Because this perception is not about the other person. It's about you, about how you will choose to react. Will you close off? Will you pretend you didn't notice? Will you let fear drive you away? Or will you allow this relationship to gain the space it deserves? Because sometimes our first reaction is fear. Fear of opening up. Fear of showing even more of yourself. Fear that by being perceived this way, something will go out of control. But here's a hard truth you need to hear. Hiding who you are won't protect you from anything. It will only deprive you of living something real, of allowing yourself to be important to someone, of accepting that what you have, just as it is already enough to create a unique connection. You need to understand that it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a coincidence. Someone stopped, looked, and saw. Someone noticed you because there is something in you that doesn't fade, something that shines even when you think no one is watching. Maybe it's your truth. Maybe it's the way you carry your stories, even the hardest ones, without having to shout them to the world. Whatever it is, that person saw it. And if you feel scared now, that's okay. Feeling scared is normal when someone approaches you this way. Because as beautiful as it is, it's also scary to know that someone can see us so closely. But what you do with that fear is what really matters. You can let it paralyze you, or you can choose to open up anyway. Choose to take a step toward that connection even without guarantees, because here is the truth. There is no connection without vulnerability. There is no relationship that builds without someone making the decision to lower their defenses. You can choose to hide and pretend none of this is happening. You can try to make that person stop looking. But deep down, you know that something has changed. You know that no matter how much you try to ignore it, their perception has stirred something inside you. And it's not about changing who you are to fit in. It's about accepting that, exactly as you are, you have already been noticed, without effort, without masks. And that means you can stop fighting so hard to be accepted. Because for that person, you have already been accepted. You are already enough, more than enough. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to step away? Are you going to pretend it didn't happen? Or are you going to let it grow? Are you going to let that person get to know you even more? To see parts of you that maybe no one has seen before? This is your choice, and I know it can be difficult. But let me tell you something. The best things in life require courage. They require us to lower our barriers, to trust even when it's hard. Because in the end, there's nothing more liberating than being seen, accepted, and loved exactly as you are. And this person, the one who noticed what no one else saw, is not here by chance. They noticed because you have something that deserves to be noticed. They stayed because something in you made them not want to leave. Now the choice is yours. Don't run away from this feeling. It's showing you something you might have spent too much time ignoring. You are seen, and that's powerful. When someone notices the details in you, when someone perceives what you didn't even know was showing, it's a clear sign that you are ready to show yourself more. Not to the whole world, but to those who really matter. To those who have the eyes and the heart to see beyond appearances. This person doesn't look at you like everyone else. They don't see you as just another face in a crowd. They truly look at you. And their gaze brings answers. Answers that you perhaps didn't even know you were looking for. Because sometimes life sends us someone exactly at the moment we need to remember who we are. Someone who looks at us, and just with that, makes us believe there's something special inside of us, something the world hasn't fully seen yet. Have you noticed that it's rare to find someone who sees you without rush, someone who looks at what you say but also at what you don't say, someone who doesn't need you to change, to pretend, to try to fit in? This type of connection is rare because it requires courage from both sides, from the one who sees and the one who is seen. Now it's your turn to be courageous. Do not diminish this. Do not try to escape, because when someone notices something about you, it means that person is willing to go beyond. And you deserve someone who goes beyond. You deserve to be discovered in your most subtle details, in your smallest gestures, in your truest parts. Do not let this go unnoticed. Do not pretend it doesn't matter. Because it does matter. Do you know why? Because connections like this do not come from nowhere. They happen because the universe, life, or fate, call it what you will, is giving you the chance to open up, to connect, to build something real. You are not alone in this. Because this person, the one who sees you now, is showing you that it is worth continuing. It is worth trusting. It is worth being you. And if you are still wondering whether you should allow yourself, if you should open that door, the answer is simple. Yes. Open up. You have already been noticed. The truth has already appeared. There is no turning back now. Now it is about what you do with this. And I need you to understand this doesn't happen every day. Someone who looks into your eyes and truly sees you. Someone who is interested in your silence, in your presence, in your details. Do not strive for perfection. There is no perfection in this. What exists is the truth. And the truth within you is more than enough to keep this person around. When someone starts to see what you have inside, it is not the details that captivate them. It is what those details mean. It is the depth they carry. It is the way they reveal parts of you that were dormant, waiting to be discovered. You do not need to be afraid to show who you are, because the person looking at you with that attention, with that desire, is ready to know the truth. And the truth, as frightening as it may be, is what truly connects two people. I know it's scary. I know the urge to run away can be strong. But don't run. Not this time. Life has a peculiar way of putting us exactly where we need to be. And if you're here, if someone has noticed something about you, it's because you were ready to be seen. Maybe you don't think you're ready, but you are. The simple fact that you were noticed proves it. Now I want to tell you something important. You are not alone in this. There is someone looking at you right now with real interest, and that look is worth a lot. Value it. Don't let it pass. Don't miss this chance to let someone know who you really are. And now it's up to you. If you've come this far, it means that some part of this message resonated with you, that you felt it too, that somewhere inside you there is something ready to awaken. And I want to know, has someone already noticed something special in you? Has someone looked beyond the obvious and seen something that moved you? Comment down below. I want to hear your story. I want to know how you feel about it. Don't hide. Your voice matters. If this message touched you in some way, if it made sense, I ask you to leave a like. Because when you react, it shows me that we are together, that this conversation made a difference for you. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. Here, we talk about things that move the soul, that make us see beyond, that help us understand life in a deeper and more truthful way. Leave your comment, leave your like, and more importantly, don't forget to be seen. Someone has already started to notice what is most special about you. Now it's your turn to believe it too.